TikTok, time to rock. I do believe we're live. Historically, I've had problems when I have two people live simultaneously, but we've been trying to troubleshoot that a bit. Just want to look down here to see when we actually pop up to make sure we're all here. All right. I see Adam with a drink. What are you drinking? What is that? Energy drink?
Yeah, man. Bing. Chris.
Bing. I drink Bings too.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
Yeah. They make
I'm trying to get off the Red Bulls, man.
Yeah, the Bings make little shots like 5-hour energy too.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Never heard of it.
All right, everyone. Let's do a quick audio check right now. Let me check my vault, guys. We'll all just talk in turn. Hello, everyone. I'm just looking at the audio right now, making sure that everyone is basically at the same level audio-wise, because I have two guys on by Skype, and it's giving me one readout, so I just want to check everyone here. And, all right, so there's that. All right, Adam, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself in case anyone doesn't know you.
I mean, who doesn't know me, man? I'm a worldwide phenomenon. I'm like... like the Ric Flair of apologetics over here. No, man, what's going on, y'all? This is Adam Coleman of Tru-ID Apologetics. That's Tru-ID Apologetics, your hometown hero. And definitely check me out on my channel, man. I've been doing this for a couple of years now. And it started out with a podcast. I was heavily rebuked by Vocab and David Wood to get into the video
podcast,
whatever.
Oh man, whoa.
Yeah, in the podcast game, you're either Joe Rogan or you're like some super old dude or whatever. You know, it's one or the other. So I was in no man's land. But I'm on these videos now, man. I'm on the come up. As a matter of fact, as of last night, man, I might be at 4,000, man. I'm getting up there, man.
Are you at 4,000?
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, you'll have to do something. You'll have to do something special for 5,000. Those are your milestones, right? You got your 5,000. I mean, you got your 1,000. You already passed that, but you got your 5,000. That's a milestone. You should do something fun. Your 10,000. That's a milestone. Then your 25. Then your 50. Then your 100. And then you can kind of toss them in.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm at 39.75, so I need 25 of y'all. You know what I'm saying, to hop on, get me to that 4K mark. But I'm happy to be here, man. Part of the Flu Tank clan.
Yeah, and and both Adam and Jon's channels are there's links to those in the description box. Jon McCray, tell us who you are. Tell us who you are, what you're doing.
My name is Jon. I run the channel called Whaddo You Meme. I don't know why my video quality is so messed up right now, though. I was trying to fix it, but you guys have to bear with. But yeah, I run the channel called Whaddo You Meme, and basically I just respond to anti-Christian memes, videos, and slogans, and do a lot of commentary on culture as well. So that's about it for me. And
Jon, you just went full time right before.
Yeah. Crazy time.
You know what sucks? So in case anyone doesn't notice, I've been telling Jon for a while, man, just quit your job, go full time, man, go full time. Heck with that. Once you're cranking out stuff left and right, you got all these videos. People, just from experience, I know if you're cranking out tons of content, because that's a decision I had to make, right? I mean, I finished my school, I got a PhD. There is a strong inclination to get a nice, comfortable job that is nice and safe. There's that inclination to go, man, all I have to do is put out the applications. I get this job. I have to teach a few classes per semester. I have to, grade and go in and teach. But I love going in there and I don't love the grading. I hate the grading. But I love being in the class and talking about philosophy and stuff like that. So, gosh, I could do that and get paid for it and be safe. But if I do that, I can't be doing much YouTube because I'll get in trouble for it. I'll get in trouble. Unless I'm just being very nice and just doing like philosophy videos or something like that. But if I'm doing what I'm doing now, I'm going to be in trouble, working there. And so I just had to say, nope, I believe it can be done. I believe, because what was I the first one? Was I the first full-time like YouTube apologist? Can you guys think of another?
I think so. Yeah, probably.
You might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the first.
Yeah. So I basically said I have no evidence that this could actually work, but I'm going to do it anyway.
But Jon, you should try it.
Yeah.
Follow me as I follow David.
I said I'm going to burn all bridges. I'm going to make it. By the way, guys, just so you know, some of the more not sure what to call them. Some of the more radical views I made historically. Part of that was I'm going to make this video so that no one would ever hire me. That way I can't even consider that an option, right? So I'm going to put part of the reason I'm putting on my wife's nightie for this video is I know I will not be able to work after that, right? I mean, really, I think I could get away with it. But in my mind at that time, I was thinking, nope.
What can I do to make myself entirely
untouchable, so that the only option is making killer videos on YouTube. So anyway, so I did that, and it actually worked. I was able to go full time.
One of my homeboys, though, he tattooed his face and everything like that because he said he was going to make it in music, and then he never did. So now he's working construction, which he doesn't want to do, but it's the only job he can get.
Yeah.
See, same kind of thing.
Yeah, didn't work out.
No, it didn't work out, man.
So anyway, I think I was the first dude. Now there's several. Now there are several people who are just full-time YouTube apologists. This is what they do, and it's just awesome to have sites where you can be crowdfunded, where all the people watch your videos can chip in $1 or $5 a month or something like that. So anyway, I've been telling John for like a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. You could do it, man. You could go full time. Screw that job. Quit that job, man. Just burn all those bridges. Just work. And I mean, just work at YouTube, right? And so John finally does it, and then coronavirus hits, and now
like the next week.
Yeah, he wasn't quite at what he needed to survive, but he was getting close, and he's like, but if I just go full time now, I'll be able to get there. And then coronavirus hits when everyone's scrambling to save their money. And so now, John, you're screwed, buddy. I tell you,
thanks,
look, don't listen to me, dude. Don't listen to me. You should have kept your job, and then you wouldn't be allowed to go to work, and you'd be getting paid right now to not work and do YouTube. See that?
Wait a minute. So did David Wood just give a whole testimony about being the source of John's financial ruin? Is that what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He just gave a testimony. It's a second testimony video.
But all goes south. We know who to blame. Yeah, because now everybody's scrambling to keep their money and all that too, because everybody's losing work and stuff. So everybody's losing support too. So it's like the worst time too. Yeah. But it's all right. Thanks to David Wood, so it's all his fault.
Great job, Dave.
What else can I say but you're welcome? So anyway, the side note of that is, guys, help out whoever you can, and by that I don't mean me. I mean the people around you. I mean everyone all around the world. Some people are going to be better off, right? Like me. I'm better off because I'm online and I can still be doing what I'm doing. I'm better off than people whose entire ministries are like going around speaking, right? People whose income depended on going around speaking at lots of places and stuff like that. They're going to be in trouble for the next couple months. So if you know someone like that, be thinking about them. This is gonna hit. Yeah. In other words, it's going to hit me. Less than it hits lots of people, but people all over the world are going to be in those kinds of situations, right? Some people, like if you're retired, right? You still have the same income coming in, so you're not affected. If you had to go to work every day and you were barely scraping by, these times could be hurting. So those of you who are doing well and you're not really going to be impacted by this, make sure you're looking around for people that you can always help. And those of you who are in parts of the world where you're doing well. Think about Jon McCray if you can, because he's going to be losing some supporters and that's completely understandable. If you ever have to choose between donating to us and feeding your family, by all means, feed your family. So there are going to be people who are struggling at least for the next few months, and so it's perfectly understandable that support's going to drop and stuff like that. So those of you who can think about Jon McCray, again, just went full time on the advice of a super genius.
Well, I'm just glad I didn't follow your footsteps and wear a dress. So maybe I could still get a job.
You got to do that. Go wear that. Go wear that.
Hey, you got to go all in, man. You got to commit, brother. You got to commit. Lean into it.
So, John, I just put up a comment by Aiden. Remember Aiden?
Yeah. What up, Aiden?
Yeah.
Good to see you, my man.
Yeah. Me and Adam talked to him a little bit yesterday here on the show, but guys, remember if you weren't here yesterday, Aiden's the guy. We went up to New York for a conference with Frank Turek, and we Vocab wanted to just roll up on the Hebrew Israelites up there in Harlem, and Aiden's like, I'll come, and so we're like, you sure, man? You know what we're getting into, and nope, he rolled right up in there. So yeah, that's
about that life, man.
Yeah,
he's ready at all times, man. Smart kid.
Yeah.
John Buckley said, David, whatever happened to Randy? So that's Randy from the guy I talk about in my testimony video. Randy's still locked up. That guy had 21 felonies. 21 felonies. So Randy's still locked up. We send him money every month. About a month and a half ago, someone contacted me and said, David, can you tell me how I can get a hold of Randy? I want to send him some money. And I was like, sure. So I gave him Randy's contact, and then I heard from Randy. He said, hey, this guy started sending me letters and stuff like that, and sending me money, say hi and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So yep. So Randy's still locked up. He goes up for parole every year, but he goes up for parole in Virginia, and they're just not inclined to let people go. Might change with coronavirus. They might want to start letting people out. But yeah, Virginia is kind of notorious for not letting people out, even like months early. So yeah. Oh, hey, Benjamin Handelman said, I also try to give John all of my money. Benjamin, do not give John all of your money.
All of your money.
Yeah,
no. Tithes and all.
And in his picture, he's
sleeping in his car.
He's in a military outfit, and he's there with his wife. No, spend some of your money on your wife, guys. Only support us if you just you have extra money. Other than that, don't support us. Don't
go broke.
Yeah. All right.
Well, hey, I'm gonna let you guys speak for yourselves, man. Support me.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you have $1 to eat and feed your family. Screw that. Send it to Adam.
I need it all.
Hey, who'd you say MJ Jackson is? You said MJ Jackson.
Oh yeah, that's my homeboy, man. MJ Jackson. He's got urban. I'm sorry. I always mess up the name, but I think it's the Urban Christian Institute.
Oh, yeah?
He's got a YouTube channel as well. He's got a lot of dope material, man, particularly on the group of we run into called Comedics. Is those people who kind of base their philosophy or spirituality around Egypt. And so he's got a lot of great material on that, does some book reviews and things like that. So, people should definitely subscribe to him.
Have you had him live with you?
No, I don't think so.
Hey, MJ. Hey, MJ.
That's on MJ, man. Call him out, bro. He should have been on my channel, man. That slacker. Call him out. Hey, he's a smart dude, man. Smart dude.
Hey, MJ Jackson, tell us what your internet connection's like. Just go to Google, type in speed test, and then click run speed test, and it's going to give you 2 numbers. Tell us what those 2 numbers are, and if you want to go live see, this is how I work, by the way. It's a vouching system, right? Someone just told me one day, hey, Adam's cool, Adam's smart. You should get Adam on something, right?
That was me.
Yeah. Well, no, that was you and Vocab and someone else at a philosophy conference. So multiple people all told me the same thing. But yeah, we have yeah, it's similar to the mafia. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get in, like, someone's got to vouch for you. Hey, I know this guy, and he's a stand-up guy, right? So, anyway, if Adam's vouching for you, MJ, then
oh, yeah. I put my name on MJ, man. I vouch for him for sure. He's that dude. Is he talking trash in the chat?
No. Benjamin Handelman's talking trash. He said, John's joining the live stream from 1996 because he's talking about your...
I don't know what happened. On my end, it looks really clean. I don't know what happened.
He called in through AOL.
On my side, it's really clean.
Yo, do you remember when you were trying to adjust the settings and stuff earlier? Maybe you actually did them, and it didn't until you went back on there. Maybe it didn't. You know what I mean?
Nah.
No, it didn't.
Like a filter.
I don't think so, man. No, I just tried to switch it over, so I don't know what happened.
No, you just got some garbage connection, man.
That's lame. I wonder if I should hang up and then try to call back in. You think it'll let me in?
No, do not mess with it.
Oh, yeah, if I hang up, it'll kick us all off, huh?
No, actually, you just went clear for a second, so I think it's an internet thing, yeah. And by the way, for real, audio is the most important thing. We hear you clearly, so that's good. Yeah,
you can hear the audio, yeah.
Cool.
Let's see. All right, and guys, just so everyone knows, we're just doing a sort of, we titled this Live Hangout, so we're just basically going to hang out, chat with everyone there. Guys, anytime you see a comment you want to respond to, just jump in there. So we're not really doing apologetics. If someone has questions about apologetics, we're happy to answer them, but yeah, we're basically just thinking about people out there who are stuck and quarantined, and you don't want to be quarantined too long and not have any human contact. Now, for me, that's like my dream come true, right? No one in my face. Leave me alone with some books and a video camera. I can make some YouTube videos. Other than that, I'm fine. Lock me in. I mean, I could be in a 8x6 cell. I'm good for years.
This you used to that, huh? Dream right here, man.
Yeah,
beautiful right here.
Yeah.
You spent more years like that, huh?
8x6? Well, that was like the first year and some change. After that was in dorms, big 88-man dorms or 40-man dorms, stuff like that. And so you're a bunch of people. Then you miss that cell. Then you miss that cell because some people stay up all night playing cards. It wasn't until I got out, and I went to sleep, and then I woke up like 10 hours later, and I was like, what? I had gotten used to being woken up repeatedly throughout the night and going back to sleep just because there's always noise. There's always noise. So I had become, after 5 years of that, I'd become completely used to it, to where I'd forgotten what it was like to just sleep in quiet and stuff. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm introverted, man.
So you know how like people play like white noise, you know what I mean, to kind of help a baby go to sleep. Like, do you play like prison noise in the background? Like, do you know people like clanking on the bars? Like,
I'll tell you what. This I don't know. I think it's interesting. I would try to. So I didn't really start reading a lot until I was locked up, right? And there's nothing else to do. I'd read some before, but I didn't read a lot. Like sit around, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 hours a day reading. I started that when I was locked up, and I start, reading all the classics, and then I get into, start reading the Bible every day for several hours, and then get into like apologetics, always reading, but it's always noisy. And then, so years, then I get out and I go to college, and I realize I can't, it's a struggle to focus on reading, right? And I'm like, why can't I sit here and focus on this reading? And then I started noticing when I be on the train, on the subway in New York, riding through the Bronx, I'm on the train, all of a sudden I can read much more rapidly and be much more focused. And it took me a while and I just realized it's because there's this constant background noise, and that's how I like started reading a ton. And so it gets to the point I'm like, when I'm in like dissertation mode and stuff like that, and I'm like, gosh, I can't get anything done today. My wife would go, just go get on the train, ride it to the end, get a bunch of reading done, ride it on the way back, get a ton of reading done, then you get back and write, and you got all your reading done stuff. So she'd actually tell me, she knew by then, just go get on the train. I know you'll read faster. So yeah, that is that's
Hey, I got a question. It just kind of made me think about something. Like I'm kind of in interview mode right now, but I mean, it's just fascinating. So like, at what point did you kind of realize like, yo, I'm kind of on the track of doing something that's like bigger than myself? You know what I mean? Like, at what point, okay, like I've got, have had this experience in prison, and, I'm getting into the ministry. Like, at what point was like, oh snap, like this is like a real thing. You know what I mean?
Like
when the light bulb goes off, it's like, oh, like I'm actually gonna like be full-time ministry. Like I'm headed on this path toward ministry.
Yeah, no idea. It was somewhere along the way. It was because I went to school. I became a biology major. So I was doing bio, and then I was required to take philosophy, and then I started, and then I realized I'm more interested in philosophy than I am in biology. But I'd already completed like most of a biology degree, so I was like, okay, I'll do a double major, so I'll do biology and philosophy. Finished all that, and then Nabil. I think I was planning on teaching. I think for a long time I was planning on becoming like a philosophy professor after that, and just I'd teach, and then maybe do a little apologetics on the side or something like that. And then, ended up going around speaking a lot with Nabil early on after his conversion. So I was doing that. But I think up until, I got really hooked on doing YouTube. I think before that, I'd always planned on being a professor and doing apologetics on the side. And I'm not sure when. At some point, it was just, no, I believe I can reach way more people with the technology available to me than I can speaking to, classes of 20 to 30 students. And right. I think it was somewhere around there.
Dope.
That's dope. That's what's up.
Guys, sing your question then, because I'm not seeing too many.
And the angel Gabriel came and told me that I was going to be an apologist. That's kind of how it happened for me. But
in your bedroom,
we don't have to get into that right now.
Yeah. St. Dennis said, "What's the topic of the show?" It's whatever you guys want it to be, St. Dennis. We're just here. Again, we're here to chat with people. Hey, actually, look, Fred Sanford said, can we get the jihadi tears from your merch store? Now, guys, I was just joking yesterday because I was sitting here and it was like a couple minutes before we were starting, and I didn't have a cup of water. I had a gallon jug of water, which is what I'd been drinking out of. And so I was like, man, I'm gonna look like an idiot drinking out of this gallon jug. Let me write, but I had a Sharpie right here, so I was like, let me write jihadi tears on it. But then afterwards, I was like, well, that would be cool on a cup too, right? To just be sitting there with if you just have a mug. So yeah, Fred Sanford, I think I'm just gonna make a mug for my store. It says Jihadi Tears, and then anyone who wants the Jihadi Tears Jihadi Tears mug can have that. What's up,
Adam? Have you watched all the Islamicize Me? I know.
Not all. I haven't.
You
watched
probably
all.
haven't. Oh, you haven't seen. You're
Because
slipping.
there was like a couple. I watched like several of them, and there was like a couple episodes. I don't know how I missed it. You know what I'm saying, but I feel like I missed a couple in the middle.
Oh yeah. See, he's not even watching our stuff. Wood, what do you say about that?
That's why he's an amateur, man. If he'd watched that, he'd be owning this internet thing right now.
I'd be a genius. I'd be a YouTube genius right
Hey,
there.
actually, I offered. He still hasn't given me his official answer yet, but I offered Adam the role of the angel Gabriel in Muhammad Meets the Angel Gabriel, right? So Muhammad's gonna sit down. He's gonna say, "Who are you, sir?" And he's like, "I'm the angel Gabriel." He's like, "What? You're not the angel Gabriel. The angel Gabriel has horns and he's red and he has this creepy tail and he always chokes me." And so then Adam, aka the angel Gabriel, will be like, "That's Satan, you moron." And he's like, "What? Satan's a black man." As I say in Ibn Asak, Satan's a black man, right? And so anyway, so that would be the beginning. But then
I think I convinced my wife to let me do it, man.
Oh yeah,
I think we're good on that.
Oh, that would be dope.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I agree to keep it on the tamer end of things that are less likely to get you killed.
They won't give me stabbed or shot.
Yeah. When it comes to getting killed, we'll keep vocab in front.
Right. He's like our shield, our body shield.
yeah. Don't worry, vocab he'll get it first.
Yeah, vocab. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was wondering because I watched back.
Wait, what do you got?
I watched back like half of Islamicize Me a couple weeks ago, and it's funny. So if you guys haven't seen it, you should watch it. Just search Islamicize Me. It's a series that we did, me, Wood, and Vocab. It was fun.
Oh yeah, someone post the link to Islamicize Me. Yeah, guys, and people don't know, but that was based on a true story, right?
Yeah.
Vocab had a friend who was a convert to Islam and died while trying to kill Robert Spencer and Pamela Geller in Texas. So the idea of the series is you got these three guys, and by the way, it was three guys. One of them sort of dropped out of the plan at the last second, so two guys went and tried to kill everyone. They got killed trying to storm the place. And yes, we made a video about three guys who convert to Islam, but instead of just going with the normal stuff they tell you, we actually had these guys go through the Muslim sources and start trying to live everything. And basically, by the end, they were so messed up and sick from all the diseases they caught from actually, following Muhammad's commands that, they were basically passing out before they could ever go on a killing spree. And so anyway, it was a fun series.
Yeah, and Robert. So this is why he's dope. Robert Spencer's in it, right? Like he was saying, Robert Spencer. A few times, people have tried to kill him, and he survived. He was poisoned in where was he in? The UK or whatever. He was poisoned and stuff, still lived. And so in the series, we actually give him like superpowers where like the jihadis try to kill him and he has these superpowers so he can't die. He starts doing all this crazy stuff. It's pretty dope.
Oh, but by the way, so this is funny sort of behind the scenes stuff for people who've watched Islamicize Me. For that was because Vocab wanted a rewrite. I had initially planned it as a sort of spoof on, this is before your time, John. Adam, you might recall there was a movie in the 80s called The Untouchables with Sean Connery and Kevin Costner, and there's a scene where an assassin one of Al Capone's assassins shows up to kill Sean Connery, who's a police officer, and he's following him around the house. He's got a knife, and he's following him around, and right when he gets up to him about to stab him, Sean Connery turns around with a shotgun and goes, "Don't ever bring a knife to a gunfight." And so, matter of fact, I think it was just like some derogatory term, just like a such and such brings a knife to a gunfight. And then so the guy runs and then he dies. Anyway, I was going to have a jihadi, the jihadis, we're going to show up to kill Robert Spencer, but we got knives. And then he turns around with a gun and says, just like a jihadi brings a knife to a gunfight. And then we take off running, and Vocab's like, "No, I don't think it's good to threaten people with a gun on here and stuff like that." I was like, "What can I do?" Then we were brainstorming or something like that. We're like, "Wait, let's give him the ability to like force choke people and stuff like that." So that's how we came up with the magical version of Robert Spencer.
Hey, I think we got like a real wrestling fan in the chat here. Somebody asked, well, first I think they're referring to they said something about Halal Hogan. your boy Sam Shamoon, and they were like, "There's a spinoff with Muta Man." I don't know if they're saying there is one, or or we should do one, or
no. There's a plan to. See, that's another behind the scenes thing. The Halal Hogan came about by accident. We had Sam Shamoon playing the Imam, the Sheikh, the Mad Sheikh, in the series, and then we're just driving around. We'd finished. I think we'd either finish recording or we'd finish most recording, and we're driving. We just dropped John off at the airport, and then it's me, Vocab, and Sam. And Vocab keeps asking Sam, "Can you do any impressions of? Can you do impressions?" And Sam's like, "Well, I can kind of sound like Bruce Lee, and it wasn't that great. And I can kind of do this and kind of do that." And then he, none of it was very great. And all of a sudden he goes, "Oh yeah, I can kind of do Hulk Hogan. Let me tell you something, brother." But he was like dead. If you weren't looking at Sam, if you weren't looking at Sam, you would think that this was Hulk Hogan talking. It was like perfect. And he's going in and eat your vitamins, say your prayers, and blah blah blah. So he's spitting it. Yeah. And what was amazing was Vocab earlier in the series. We'd all recorded it. Had already mentioned just improv Halal Hogan, right? When we came in there and after we'd beat up the big pimp, and we came in there and he goes, "You were like Halal Hogan." It's just a name he made up. But then it turns out Sam could do Hulk Hogan, completely unknown to us.
Oh, Sam, that's dope.
And then we made the character, and we'd already introduced him, and so it was, that was just
Providence, man. That's what it was.
No, remember we brought in. So we were like, it was before. So when we first got out to start filming, we didn't even write Sam into the script, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden we're like, well, yeah, he can play an Imam. And then when he came, he was just like one take, and he was just like excellent. He was like perfect. We're like, what the heck? Sam can act?
Yeah, no, look, Sam was like, we had tried a bunch of other people. I was trying to get Al-Fadi. I was trying to get all kinds of people to be the Imam. Couldn't find anyone who wanted to be an Islamicized me and play that kind of role. So Sam was like,
would have been good. He would have been a good one too, man.
Yeah.
He's got like that gangster kind of look. Like he could have been like the cool, calm villain. Yeah, he could have pulled that off.
Yeah, but when Sam came down, we had no idea, right? I mean, we see Sam doing talking about Islam and doing apologetics and stuff. But we sit down in front of him and we just tell him, okay, do a sermon on science and the Quran, and his eyes got all big, and it was just improv. And we might have made it like 90 seconds, and then we were busting out laughing, and he had to finally stop. And then he had to kind of tell us, guys, I can't do this if you all are cracking up laughing the entire time. But as funny as it looks in the videos, it's completely different when you're sitting in front of Sam and he's looking down at you with these bug eyes on his head, and he's going, the hikmah, right? And so it was just insane. And then we're like, whoa, and yep. And then it turned into a Halal Hogan. So anyway, if they're talking about, we're going to do a spin-off with Hulk Hogan because he's a Sunni sheikh, a sort of Salafi sheikh. But we're going to have another character who would be the Muta Man, Randy Shia, maybe Ramzi Shia or something like that. But he's going to be like the Macho Man, but he's going to be the Muta Man. So he's going to be a Shia, and he's going to be his rival. And then we're going to have them. By the way, Sam actually trained as a professional wrestler. I don't mean real wrestler. Yeah. I mean he actually went to school to be, like a guy in the ring and stuff like that. So he can actually do some of that stuff.
Wait, like real wrestling or WWE?
WWE type. He went to training. Sam can do that stuff.
What?
Yeah, he went and did that stuff when he was young.
Yeah, they got like legit schools for that stuff, man.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy. I didn't know you had to go to school for that.
I was thinking like the Great Muta. I don't know if y'all were like wrestling fans back in the day. Remember the Great Muta?
Nah, never heard of it, bro.
You remember the Great Muta? The dude who was like he would have the smoke where he was like you would blow the smoke in people's eyes and stuff. He used to fight Sting all the time.
Oh, you're talking about WCW, man. I was watching WWF, man.
Oh, come on.
I didn't watch that WCW crap.
Come on, man. Hey, MJ said he's got 43.7.
Upload or download? Should be two numbers. We need both numbers, MJ. Hey, check this out. Benjamin Handelman said, time for John and his family to move into David Wood's house.
Yep. That's the consequences.
John, if things get bad, we do have an extra room here.
For all six of us? I'm just kidding. There's only four of us.
We'll figure it out and make it work. We will figure something out.
It's like the Brady Bunch,
Yeah.
That's funny.
Somebody
said they had a question for John that they super
just saw
chatted.
that.
I don't see it, but I mean, maybe one of us can scroll back and get it. But
Hold on.
somebody
Someone just said, is Sam Shamoon live right now? Because that would be, I will go and troll his channel and tell everyone to come watch me. This might have been a couple minutes ago. Is he still live? Oh, no, he's not live anymore. Oh, that would have been so funny. Nothing is more fun than going over to Sam's channel. And
yeah, Sam's going to be on my channel tomorrow, by the way.
Well, you have our sympathy.
Yeah.
Yo, you should make him do the Halal Hogan impersonation like the whole time. He's got to do the whole interview in the Hogan.
Let me tell you something about the Trinity.
Let me tell you something about the Trinity, brother.
Yo, you guys send us in your questions too, because I'm trying to look now for some questions. I didn't really see very many.
Well, I came across one. I'm not sure if it's out of order or not, but if you want, I can just throw it up there if y'all want.
Hey, I just realized with the three of us here, we could call ourselves Oreo Apologetics.
Are you in the middle?
Huh?
You are in the middle.
You switched it to be
Oreo Apologetics.
That'll go over real well.
With extra double stuffing.
Oh, snap. Shots fired. I see a super chat here. I don't know if I'm out of order or not, but if y'all want, I can just go ahead and read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, it says, this is from Harley Wykes, I guess it is. You know, I'm thanking you for the super chat on David's channel. You know what I'm saying? What do you think of Plantinga's reformed epistemology? What would, and I guess the follow-up is, what would you say if a different religion had a similar epistemology?
Yeah, I like this one, huh, Adam?
Oh, boy.
Everybody already knows.
Yeah.
Man.
My apologists friends know.
Me and John are going to start fighting, man.
John, it's going to be 2-on-1 because you and me are on the same side of this, and Jon McCray is about to get schooled here. We don't.
Seems like I'm the only one with common sense when it comes to.
Look, we're going to have to. We can't spend 2 hours on this, so we're going to have to just like limit it to some brief comments, basically giving our views. Let me just give you a quick what I think about Alvin Plantinga. Why I like Plantinga, especially in that main article where he presented that. But it's a classic paper. It's in pretty much all the like if you get a philosophy of religion anthology and something like that's always in there. Yeah, how he does it when he argues, Plantinga will respond to someone's paper. So someone will make an argument, and Plantinga will basically give an overview of what the guy says, and then he will say, well, I wonder what he means here. Well, he can't mean this, because if he meant that, I could simply refute him by saying this. So we'll assume that he means this other thing, and then he'll start going along that way. Now, if he means this, then this raises this problem, and I can refute that. So maybe we could fix his argument by doing this. And what happens is he keeps doing this over and over again until you get to an argument that was much stronger than what the other guy even, because now it's Plantinga's brain arguing this guy's case for him, and he ends up modifying the guy's position until it becomes a much stronger version of that guy's position, and then he'll destroy it. Right? Then he'll destroy that guy's case. With that said, I'm not completely set on Plantinga's position. Keep in mind that he doesn't say that there can't be a defeater for this kind of belief, right? So, if you have some sort of direct access to God, some sort of sensus divinitatis, right? If you have some sort of direct sense of God, he's not saying that can't be defeated, right? He's not saying you can't have evidence that somehow proves that that's wrong, but he's saying that you can, believe in God based on that, without what he calls, propositional evidence, right? In other words, evidence based on arguments and so on. So I happen to believe that he's right about that. I'm assuming, I've never talked to Adam about this, but I'm assuming just based on that little prequel right there that Adam agrees with him too. So we'll go ahead and let John give his view next, and then we'll let Adam speak finally.
John from the chat.
Oh yeah, that's smooth, huh? No, so just to put it in practical, simple language, I'm not going to use the philosophical language precisely here. But what I want to say is that, okay, I'll give you a practical example. I have an identical twin brother who's not a believer, okay? And he was an atheist. Now he's I guess kind of like agnostic type or more of a theist at this point, but has kind of a weird view. But anyways, what changed was that he said that he had a spiritual experience where it sounded kind of like a near-death experience where he left his body. And then he basically found like God, and God didn't really care about what we do. And he said there's no rules or anything like that. It's all us just making up stuff, that sort of thing, right? So he had an experience. And then so if I took the Reformed epistemology view, I'm supposed to say, well, I know Christianity is true. I mean, this is my kind of lay way of saying it. I know Christianity is true because I had an experience with the Holy Spirit that nobody else can verify, right? All the evidence is just purely internal. And then so with somebody like my brother, then I'd have to say, well, my experience is true, but your experience is not true. And even though we can't verify anything about either one of our experiences. So those are the kind of problems that I think you run into on just a practical kind of Reformed epistemology type view, especially with the defeater edition too, where you say that like, well, somebody else had, you say, well, I know I didn't commit this crime, even though all the evidence stacks up against me. If that's the case, I think like, and so they'll apply that same logic to believing in God based off of that. You have an experience with God, and so only because of that. You apply that kind of logic straight to, in other words, in my view, you'd have to be cheating if you're going to say that it's true for me, but not true for other people. Then it's kind of like the problem that we're already compounded with in culture. So that's kind of like a brief rundown of it. Of course, I didn't hit on all the other points, but that's kind of like my basic kind of problem with it. So when it comes to epistemology, I'm more of just a classical foundationalist or something along those lines. I really like Tim and Lydia McGrew's position on epistemology. That seems to suit well with my intuitions. So.
All right, now for something that's not horrible. Go ahead, Adam.
I'm going to refrain from responding to John. I'm just going to say,
yeah, you don't want to embarrass yourself.
You don't want to embarrass
yourself in front of what, 600 people right now?
I know we're man in South Carolina. We were going back and forth on this for like an hour and some change, man. So I'm not going to recreate that. But I am super sympathetic to Plantinga's view. Now I will say out front that it seems to me that of the broad branches of philosophy, epistemology seems to be where you find the most gridlock. I mean, you have really smart people who hold vastly different positions and can, argue for them. So that gives me pause. I mean, so I'm willing to say that, I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Plantinga is not the only smart epistemologist out there. You know what I'm saying? So, like John mentioned, the McGrews are super smart. And so I would want to hear, maybe I think they take more of an internalist, overall position. So it'd be kind of interesting to hear their approach. But according to Tyler McNabb, I mean, it seems there can be variations of the Reformed epistemologist framework that can accord with internalist positions. So it'd be, that's kind of an interesting discussion. Anyway, I think about, for example, I read a lot of slave narratives. Given the context that I typically minister in. I like coming from primary sources when I talk to folks about what the experience of the African enslaved person was like. And one thing that you find time and time again is you find statements where African enslaved persons are talking about how they went to the slave master's house and heard something that was obviously false. You know what I'm saying? But then in their own experience, that God made himself very clear to them. There's like one I think it's actually John Brown. He says that the slaves were not allowed to get. Actually, the folks feared for slaves to get any religion and education, but I reckon that God just told us about himself in the hereafter, and it's just a really powerful statement about God being able to reach into the human experience and make himself known. And so I think that's a real thing for people. I think that to John's point, the nature of our subjective experience is that there are going to be aspects of our subjective experience that aren't verifiable externally speaking. That's just the nature of what it means to experience something subjective or our subjective experience. So it doesn't necessarily bother me that somebody could say, hey, I had this experience and I assign some, I take it to be veridical. Mm-hmm. Now, to David's point too, though.
Yeah, I was going to say real quick, I want to agree with that too. I should clarify that I don't mean that God can't work through these ways. That's not what I'm trying to say. Or God
yeah, you're just saying it's pointless because you can't believe it because it can't be verified. It has to be verified by someone else.
No,
that makes sense.
What I want to say is
no. You're saying that if I look around and I see this world around me, and someone comes along and he's colorblind or blind, he says, "I don't see any of this." I have to go, "Okay, well, I guess the world's not real because you don't see it or because you see something else." Thanks, John. Man, you're smashing it, man. You're smashing it, dude. Go ahead.
No. What I was going to say is actually, Wood, you should actually, instead of giving evidence, against Islam and stuff like that, what if they're just having their personal experience? How are you going to reason with that? So in other words, you should just stop giving evidence and arguments, because the thing that overrides it is the defeater, and then therefore they're just as valid as anybody else for rejecting all of your views.
But see, this goes back to what David was saying, is that Plantinga takes his position, that the belief that God exists, or what he calls the cardinal truths of Christianity, like these beliefs are defeasible. I'm saying? It's not to say that it's like this infallible telling mechanism in the mind. Like, he doesn't take it to be that. These things are defeasible. And so let's say if you do have somebody who says, "I got that burning in the bosom," if I'm like the Mormon or the Jehovah's, whatever it is, then that's a point where we can have a discussion and say, okay, well, here's kind of where I'm at with it. You give me your evidence, I'll give you mine. And then at the end of the day, it's I can't physically compel somebody to believe what the gospel, but I think that the feasibility clause, if you will, I think that really counts for a lot.
I think that's better too. Yeah. I like it more than William Lane Craig's the Holy Spirit epistemology. I think it's better than that too, because he has the de facto and the de jure distinctions.
After all Craig has done for you, you throw him under the bus, man. What is this? No, actually,
to Greg's point though, and I think this is where because the philosophy stuff is obviously important, but taking it back to the scriptures, it does seem pretty clear though that the Holy Spirit is interacting with people.
Completely disagree. Well, the only scripture you can quote to is that Romans 8:28 passage, right?
Oh no, I can point to a whole bunch of them. You can't go to any in the scripture without
pick a page, pick a book, McCray.
Yeah, this gets into a broader issue though. This gets into a broader issue in terms of the nature of revelation. You know what I'm saying? Like, can God now? And there's going to be different camps on this, I understand, but I think when you look throughout the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation, you see God interacting with people all the time.
Yeah,
there's nothing. It's not foreign to the scriptures. And so I think with today,
John says no. It's all meaningless.
Here's what I'm saying. I think in Scripture, you look at Jesus is doing all these public miracles and stuff like this to vindicate, right? You don't have these times where he's like, why don't you just trust the internal, experience of the Holy Spirit to know that I'm God, and stuff like that. That's not really what you get from the Scripture by and large. For the vast majority, you get public events.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But he did say to Peter, like when he said, who do men say that I am? And then Peter says, you're Messiah. He says, flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but, my Father who's in heaven.
And then what was
so? It seems like there's some sort of revelatory thing going on here between the Father and Peter. So you could say that there's, this kind of, I don't know if you would call it experience. I don't know what you would want to call it, but, and then too, our spirit cries out, Abba, Father. We have this affirmation.
John, what would you think about this? Because I think of it along the same lines as like a kind of along the same lines as a kind of moral sense, right? As a kind of moral intuition that, if you believe that there are certain things that are really right and really wrong, and then you could take that as if you believe that your faculties are functioning properly, then you could take that as you have some sort of access to certain moral truths, and you may not be able to describe it or explain it or even defend it, but you could think of it that way. But that could be defeated, right? If someone comes along and convinces you that you formed in a completely different way and that your cognitive faculties can't be trusted, and that was wired into you by a process that just helped people who are wired like that to survive, then you could start thinking, well, okay, maybe that doesn't fit with that view, and maybe I can't trust my moral reasoning faculties. Maybe they are flawed, and so maybe they don't work like that. So I'm thinking along those lines. If you have some sort of experience of God. If you have some sort of experience of God, if there is some sort of faculty for that, that some or all human beings have, and in some it works well, and in others it's defective. If there is something like that, then you take that as some sort of basis. But if you found out that you just can't trust your faculties like that, or that things need to be verified, or that you can trust it, I mean, you have a basis for that in Scripture. The Apostle Paul got revelations about the gospel. The first chance he had, he went to the apostles and said, "Hey, I want to run this gospel by you. I got this by revelation, but I'd like to run this by you to make sure it actually lines up with what Jesus taught." And so you can actually go out and test and actually make sure any sort of personal experiences or revelations actually line up with that can actually be tested. That you actually can test them.
Yeah. No, so with the external faculties, that's more of like an externalist view of epistemology, and I'm more of an internalist. So I think that's where the difference would be. But I would say when it comes to like these moral intuitions and stuff like that, with intuitions, I notice that people have a vast array of intuitions. And so I'd say that intuition is a good starting point. Doesn't mean it's true. You don't just accept that it's true just because you have the intuition. So it's similar to what you're saying, I think. I say that it's a good starting point, and then you can use reasoning and other tools and stuff like that to see if you can confirm that it's actually more veridical, or it's something that's more to it. So that's the way I would look at it, basically.
Hey, shout out to shout out to Cameron Bertuzzi, Capturing Christianity, who's in the super chat. But there's another guy who just went full time.
Yeah,
right.
I can happily say that I did not advise him. So if
Cameron did it right.
If his ministry implodes, that's on him.
He says, by the way, Reformed epistemology is true.
Yeah, which, how do you know that? Oh, through some sort of internal
unverifiable. That's a strong man, because that's the thing, because Planning is okay. I was making sure.
No, I'm just messing with you. No, but I will say that, just to close it out, I'd say that I'm more warm towards Planica's view than Craig's view. But I'd say that it's the whole process. I'd say that at that point you're just like, well, how do you know? And I just don't read that biblically. That you have the Romans 8:28 passage that everybody goes to, and you don't see these consistent private experiences. Doesn't mean God's not doing it. I'm not saying that at all. You know what I mean? But I'm saying that when it comes to trying to adjudicate something more, is like, this is evidence, or this is how I know something's true, rather. That's a better way to put it. This is how I know something's true. I'd say I would treat it like the intuition type thing. I had this experience. I can't verify it precisely. So then you can look into the evidence for Christianity and stuff like that. If it's consistent with that more, then you have something that's a little bit more that you can add on to it. So
yeah, I really struggle with that, because I think that Scripture is pretty adamant, that we can have this confidence, that we belong to God. You know what I'm saying?
And,
by the Holy Spirit.
But how? It's because of what Jesus did why we have the confidence. That's why. Always.
Well, no, but wait a minute. If somebody were to ask, Paul the question, like, how do I know that I'm saved? You know what I'm saying? Then he could reflect back on what he wrote. Like, didn't I just tell you that? No, I mean, he's not going to say that.
What does he say in Galatians and Ephesians and Romans? All of these, he's pointing to what Christ did on the cross every time. That's how he's saying he knows. He says, we know this, even the sonship verses, like in Romans, and the one in Galatians and all. He says, we can know this because of what Christ did, basically. And so that's why we know we've been adopted to his family.
So there's no disjunct between acknowledging the work of the cross, you know what I'm saying, and acknowledging the work of the Spirit. You know what I'm saying? They're all involved. You know what I'm saying? In our salvation.
I agree. I just don't see him appealing to his.
So when you think about, what was that?
I don't see him appealing to an internal experience of the Spirit in order to know that Christianity, or to know that he's saved and we're not in our sins. That's the only difference, I'd say.
Well, I mean, we can read it though. I mean, I know we didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on it though, but
just tell me what book you're thinking from. Thinking from Romans, Galatians, Ephesians.
While he's looking that up, John, not a verse here. You can answer this real quick while he's getting his passages together. Not a verse has asked a few times. Could Jon McCray tell us a little about his upcoming stream with shameless Sam Shamoun, the Assyrian loser, the shame of all Assyrians, tomorrow? So first, go ahead and tell us what time and what you guys be talking about.
Yep. So the stream will be tomorrow night, about the time this stream started, I believe. It's
then I should not probably go live tomorrow night. I'll just tell everyone to go over there.
Yeah, that's a good
Oh,
idea.
no. I said, now Adam's, me and Adam are going to go live. So, guys, yeah, you can go over to John's channel for this super boring and possibly heretical, no, definitely heretical presentation by Shameless Sam Shamoon, the wolf in sheep's clothing. Really not very bright wolf in sheep's clothing. That's why he's called Shameless Shamoon. You can either watch that or you can watch a way better one, a rival one over here. And
see, what you're trying to do now is save yourself from having nobody show up to your stream, right? So you're like, hey guys, just go over to his stream, so you have an excuse.
No, I'm saying don't go over there. Don't go over to that horrible stream.
So yeah, tomorrow we'll be talking about the Trinity, and basically, Marcus Rogers is a popular YouTuber who's a oneness Pentecostal, so he doesn't believe in the Trinity, and people say that he's changed his position, by the way, and he hasn't. This video that we're going to be responding to just came out 2 months ago. People read the title to one of his videos, but he didn't say he changed his view in it. But anyways, maybe he changed some small nuance. How I remember the video is basically he changed the fact that he doesn't think that Trinitarians are unsaved or something like that. Now he thinks that they're both saved. But anyways, he has a video recently where he says these are questions that he's given to Trinitarians, the people who believe in the Trinity. And so we're going to just be going through those questions. So we're not going to be like dogging on Marcus or nothing like that, really. That's not really the goal of the stream that I wanted. I just kind of wanted to answer these questions because they're good, practical questions that help you understand the Trinity and clears up a lot of the misconceptions, because he uses these kind of same arguments a lot to argue against the Trinity. And I think that these kind of objections there aren't that great. So we'll go through it, and I think that it will really help other people understand the Trinity a little bit better. So that's the plan for the live stream tomorrow night. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, I was supposed to put my kids to bed like 15 minutes ago. I'll be right back.
Oh, run and do that real quick. We'll run through some questions
right back.
Yep, go ahead.
Rabbit Wolf says, please give the correct definition of the word contradiction. People like Jimmy Kahn use this. I don't know who Jimmy Kahn is, but use this word incorrectly constantly. A contradiction is, you have to be careful, right? If you're talking about something, in regular discourse, we tend to use it a little more loosely than, let me see if I can get rid of this screen for a second. How would I get rid of him? I'm nervous. What's this going to do? Nope. Dang it. All right. Let me start over here. All right. We're going to go. There we go. No. Dang it. All right. Okay, hang on one second. One more try, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Now we're just going to go John. Now, bam, look at that. All right, learn how to use the controls here. Okay.
So you're old. You got to stop trying to mess with technology, being that old.
Yeah. So contradiction is basically claiming that something is true and false at the same time in the same sense. All right? Something is true and false at the same time in the same sense. And so if someone's doing that, then they got a problem. And basically the law of contradiction is sort of the price of admission into the world of rational thinking, philosophy, rational thought. And so, notice what's interesting is if someone's willing to grant a contradiction at the foundation of their reasoning, there's nothing you can do to refute it aside from pointing out the contradiction. Right? In other words, if they say, I don't care, I've got a contradiction, there's nothing you can then do to prove them wrong. So take Matt Dillahunty, right? I pointed out that in his opening statement, he was claiming that there's no obligation, no moral obligation or anything like that. The universe doesn't compel you to, except that we should seek the good. Human beings just do it. But that once you agree that we have this goal of seeking the good, then you can figure out different ways of seeking the good. So I pointed out the obvious, namely that if you're a kind of person or a psychopath or something like that who doesn't believe that he's seeking the good, then according to that view, you've done nothing wrong because you didn't have any moral obligations. You had no obligation to seek the good, but once you decided, let me get Adam back on here. All right, and hopefully there'll be no problems here. And boom! Look at that. Oh, snap. Perfect. So I pointed out that if you accept that moral system, then that means that people who don't accept the idea that we are seeking the good have done nothing wrong if they go on mass killing sprees, because they haven't signed on to morality, and so they've done nothing wrong. They had no moral obligations. But then he spent, the rest of the debate trying to argue that we do have some sort of, we have to do it anyway. We have to seek the good, and even if we don't seek the good, we still have to seek the good, and the universe somehow, puts this burden on us, and other human beings impose it. He's basically arguing that we have some sort of obligation, and we don't have an obligation. So that's a contradiction at the foundation of his reasoning. Now, why that actually can help you is if you're willing to accept that. If you're willing to accept a contradiction, then it makes it impossible to refute, apart from pointing out the contradiction. So if I tell you I'm a married bachelor, the definition of a bachelor is an unmarried man. So if I tell you I'm a married bachelor, that's a contradiction. But notice, if I'm happy with the contradiction, I don't have a problem with the contradiction, there's nothing you can do to refute me. You can't say, David, you're not a bachelor, you're married. I would say, what are you talking about? I said I'm a married bachelor, you moron. I said I'm a married bachelor. Of course I'm married. And they say, no. That means you're not a bachelor. I said, no, I'm a married bachelor. Or if I weren't married, and you say, David, you're not married, you're a bachelor. And I say, oh, I know I'm a married bachelor. Which part of this aren't you getting? And so you could just, whichever part of that the person is trying to use to refute you, he then ends up, you just appeal to the other part, the other part there. And so, contradiction. Something is true and false at the same time in the same sense. All right. Adam, did you turn your fan on?
No.
You're just gonna have to sweat it out, bro. Sweat it out, son. Live stream sometimes it'll get hot, and I'm like, I just gotta sweat it out.
Sweat it out. Probably need to anyway, man. Trying to lose this weight.
Yeah, you got. That's what I'm doing. I'm in a sauna right now.
Yeah, how are you guys coping with your staying at home all the time? By the way.
What do you mean we're killing?
It's about what I've been doing.
the cleansing.
I mean, actually, what's cool is that this year, my wife and I, we started homeschooling. So, I mean, it really wasn't like, a thing, in terms of like the kids going somewhere and then, now being home. Like we were already kind of in that mode. It does suck because we did have them in a co-op. So that had to shut down eventually. So that kind of sucked. But I mean, we kind of just been doing what we've been doing, really. If anything was kind of weird is like my job is kind of, wigged out right now. Trying to figure out, I'll probably be working from home here pretty soon. So.
Oh, you're not working from home yet?
Nah, man. Nah. And it's crazy. I work at a hospital too. You know what I mean? So I've been in and out, like with my job, I work with homeless veterans. And so having to check on them and that kind of stuff, and trying to make sure they're squared away. Fortunately,
that's why you wanted to title he legit wanted to title the live stream "We All Gonna Die." He said that.
No, you gotta say it right. We're all gonna die. That's with a bunch of eyes. No, I mean, I've been out in it, man. I mean, fortunately, God is faithful. I've been good so far, but a lot of our guys. I mean, with the homeless population, is obviously vulnerable, so that's a real thing, man. But I'll probably be coming home and working from home I'll say within the next week or so, more than likely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, praying for you, man. Hope you stay healthy out there too, man. That stuff. I know it's in Virginia. It's growing a lot out there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. I mean, DC is one of the hot spots. Got certain parts of Virginia. As a matter of fact, well, actually, I probably shouldn't say that, but it's very close to it's hitting very close to home. It's hitting very close to home. And the thing is, I've got a newborn. You know what I mean? I've got a 5-month-old here at the crib, and so I'm very careful. When I come home, I spray my shoes before I walk in with some bleach and stuff like that, and just being extra cautious, man. Yeah.
Hey, Tatiana J. I don't know if you saw it, but you and Daniel Apologetics were requesting Braxton Hunter to be on, but yep, that'll be Monday. So I'm going to have Braxton Hunter on Monday discussing the Kalam cosmological argument.
So, yeah, Braxton's that dude, man.
Yeah, Braxton's my boy. Cool dude, man.
Cool.
Let me give a couple shout outs here for the super chat. So MJ Jackson was the one who set it off. We already checked that one out. Susie Lesarge said blessings. Thanks, Susie. Lisa, look, I don't know what that is. That's a super sticker. It's too small on my screen. It's got something holding up a number 1 flag, but I can't tell what it is on the screen. Believing Thinkers says for John and Adam. All right, well,
$250 each, Adam.
Yeah.
250. Hey.
No, he was saying that when we were talking back then about
situation. 250 is 250, guys. But
you talking about 250 or like
you gotta take out YouTube's cut.
$2.50. Yeah. So.
I thought I was saying 250.
Okay, yeah. Keep in mind we do have a trickle down system where people support me and I help support these guys, and these guys sign up for other people. So yeah, it all works.
I don't know about the trickle down stuff, man. I think I favor socialism right now. I think we need to give the underdog some money here, buddy.
Cheryl R looks like is that a fox eating an apple or eating someone's heart? I can't tell. There's Cheryl R on there. I'm having a problem with this little screen I'm looking on right now, but it's either a fox eating an apple or eating someone's heart, and so that's either adorable or disturbing. Then we have Rox B shouting out, "Hey D New." Ada Wong says David Wood University shirts, lol. So I guess that was in conjunction with the Jihadi Tears mugs. Petar said, "Can you do Muhammad meets Jesus? That's too easy." Yeah, for a while we've been planning. We never actually have gotten down to doing it, but it's not going to be Muhammad meets Jesus in the Boom Boom Room. We've been planning for a while. We've been planning a lot of stuff that we haven't gotten to because a lot of this stuff takes a lot of preparation and so on. But we've been planning for a while a Jesus versus Muhammad epic rap battle of history, where, spoiler alert, by the end of the song, Muhammad's going to be bowing down, calling Jesus Lord. But that's all the spoilers there. Then we had Confidence in Christ Ministries. That was an awesome vid with Dr. Brown. Keep up the great work. A lot more coming from the guys I recorded: William Lane Craig, Mike Lacona, Gary Habermas, and Michael Brown. Pitar Milik again. Maybe you could do parody versions of songs from Aladdin about Islam, like Prince Ali, but it's about Sharia law. Our Friend Like Me, but it's Satan. Regrettably, I've never watched that, so I don't know what the songs are.
Wait, you never watched what?
Aladdin.
How?
I don't know.
It's like an American classic, man.
Is there good stuff in there that I could use?
Nah, probably not.
No,
just watch it for your own entertainment.
All right, you guys got some comments?
Oh, snap.
Yeah,
shout out to the folks. They got me to 4,000, man. Good looking out.
Yeah.
You got to 4,000?
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, really though, subscribe to Adam's channel though, because Adam's got a lot of dope material that he's been working on, and Adam is one of the guys that I know is just going to get better and better, and his content definitely needs to be seen. So make sure you guys. I did get a. Yeah, no doubt, man. Doc Funny, what's up, my man? I should probably clarify this because a few people were saying that in the chat. They're like, "John, congrats on the new baby." I'm John. So Adam is the one that had the new baby. My little baby's 2 years old now. He's going to be 2 in August. So, but anyways, Doc Funny says, "John, are you dad again?" So that clears that up. And he said, "And how's Miss Meme doing? You're looking good with that sweet audio gear." Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, my man. My wife is doing good. We're doing better. We're still getting stuff sorted out on the medical stuff. It's just been a hassle with the medical insurance because she has a pre-existing condition now. So it's just been a hassle. But we're working on it, man. So we'll always get a read from you, Doc Funny.
Fernie Mina just said Muhammad versus Sam Shamoon in the Boom Boom Room, where Sam blocks Muhammad. Because Sam's famous for just blocking anyone who so much as questions anything he says. He just block. And so instead of Muhammad blowing up Sam instead blocks Muhammad. That would be funny.
That's hilarious.
I
got stepped away, so now I'm lost in the chat. I'm not sure where we are. I got to catch up.
I was thinking of getting just a clip of Ben Shapiro where he has some sort of dark background, like where he's speaking somewhere or something like this, where he sits down and it's just Ben Shapiro with a dark background. And so Muhammad starts off and he goes, "And with me now is," and he looks over and then it cuts to Ben Shapiro and Muhammad goes, "A Jew?" And then he just blows him up, and that's the end. But I would probably get Ben Shapiro's permission before I did that.
Yo, it'd be dope if you get Tyson Fury on your channel, man. Like actually in the flesh, to get in the boom boom room, man. You got to make that happen, bro.
Tyson Fury in the boom boom room.
Yeah, you got to make it happen, man. You got those connects, bro. You know what I'm saying?
The first thing I'd like to say, Mohammed, is that I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the only Lord, the only God.
Right.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, he's dope. He's pretty dope. Yeah.
I saw he was. I don't know if this is a long time ago, but right after he beat Klitschko, they had a press conference afterwards, and because Klitschko wanted a rematch and stuff like this. And Tyson Fury, and he even had a bigger belly than he did, when he's fighting Deontay Wilder. But Tyson Fury, Klitschko's trying to talk a little bit of trash, and it's kind of not working because he's Russian. They're not good trash talkers. The best they could come up with is like, I must break you. And I know before someone says he's Ukrainian, I know I call them all Russian. It's it's just anyway. I call them all Ivan Drago.
Wait, Drago
too.
wasn't Ukrainian?
Huh?
Wait.
Klitschko's Ukrainian.
Oh, Klitschko's Ukrainian.
Yeah, Klitschko's Ukrainian. Yeah, no, Drago was Soviet Union, but so Klitschko's trying to to talk a little bit trash, and Tyson Fury just goes, "Yeah, I just beat you. Look, I'm not even an athlete. Look at me. To call me an athlete would be an insult to all athletes who've ever existed." He goes, "Look, you want to see something?" And he stands up, he pulls his shirt off, he's got his belly hanging out, and he's shaking his belly, and he's going, "Look at me! Look at me!" And he goes, then he sits back, he sits back and he goes, "You got beat by a fat man." And then every time Klitschko would try to talk, Tyson Fury would just go, "You got beat by a fat man." And I was like, he was just burning him up, man. He was just burning him up with "You got beat by a fat man."
You got beat by a fat man.
The dude is just.
Klitschko's like mad in shape. That's like he's kind of one of
He's shredded. He's shredded. I mean, especially for being as old as he is. That guy's nothing but rip, man.
Right.
By the way, about this quarantine situation, I can't. So I have a problem because I'm super introverted and I also hate the outdoors. So I have kind of a dual problem here. But I try to go on a walk every day because the gyms are all closed, which sucks. So I would advise that to.
Was that a question? Was someone asking what we're doing for the?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. I think I'm lost in the chat. I'm going to go to the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep up, but it's hard for me to listen, think, and type at the same time because I'm just not gifted in that way.
See, the key is what you do is just ignore whatever David's saying. That's what you do.
Yeah, basically. Yep.
Whatever he's saying, just ignore him.
You got a super chat from Tatiana and Doc Funny. You want me to read them? Are you pulling them up?
No, go ahead.
Tatiana J says, I may give away everything I have to help others, and I may even give my body as an offering to be burned, but I gain nothing by doing all this if I don't have love.
Yeah, she's quoting. She's quoting First Corinthians. Yeah, she's quoting. For any of you,
I was really scared when he started reading that, but then
I know.
First Corinthians.
Yeah, I thought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought she was like, what? My body, what the heck's going on here to be burned? What the heck is going on, right? Yeah. No, I was thrown off for a second too, but yeah, guys, one of the most epic passages in the Bible is called the love chapter. It's in 1 Corinthians 13. In fact, a couple I think maybe two or three debates I had back in the day where I was addressing the Muslim argument that the Quran is so masterfully written it must be from God, and I think I tossed out the challenge and I said, okay, we'll just do it like this. You come up with the best passages you can from the Quran. I'll put them up against just one little passage from the Apostle Paul, and I read that and I say, show me anything better than that in the Quran. Show me anything better than that. Any combination of verses that are better than that.
Oh man, I love so many apostles like Galatians too. I love Galatians. I love Romans. There's a bunch of books in the Bible that I actually really love too. And have you guys ever looked into really a deep look into John, even like First John, John, the I am statements, the significance.
Oh, yeah.
The significance is crazy because you have the Greeks and then you have the Jews and then you have these views of what they had in all of the different I am statements too. So like John is amazing. Like so much of his stuff, like even First John. I used to hate First John. Now it's one of my favorite books. But like
that's actually my favorite book of the Bible, First John.
Really? Oh, that's crazy.
First John, yeah.
Oh, man. Like there's so much really insanely amazing writing in these New Testament books too, by the way. And people just don't understand the depth, especially John, I think. So I've been studying John lately, and it's amazing. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, to your point too, I think so many times we read it through like kind of westernized eyes, so to speak. You know what I mean? But when you can really understand kind of the Hebrewisms in the New Testament and like what they were trying to articulate, it just opens up a whole another world. You know what I mean? Opens up a whole another world. I know for myself, I come out of like the Word of Faith movement. You know, thank God he took me out of that. You know, by God's grace. But when I was coming up, like so many passages you read, and inevitably it would always be, you know, related back to money, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just amazing because, you know, when you start reading the scriptures in terms of what they really mean, you see it like a beauty that you just didn't even know was there, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, just really getting into the word. I don't care how much you love apologetics, man. I mean, like, you know, you got to get in that word, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's primary.
Adam, let's talk later on too about some of the stuff too, the John and stuff. We'll talk after we get off this stream or something maybe.
Cool.
But hey, the super chat from Doc Funny. Dr. Funny says, Pat, good man. He says, I have to work tomorrow again. I have to work again tomorrow morning. He's a doctor, by the way. So hey, thanks for your service. Really, I mean, it's crazy. The doctors having to work. It's crazy. So I have to get out. Get to see you all. It is really grounding and building up in my faith to see you guys talking apologetics. Long days ahead, boys. God bless and keep you all. Sweet. Appreciate it, man.
And Dr. Funny, since Adam's definitely going to be running into some coronavirus, you should join him. You should join him for that special live stream. We all gonna die.
Right. No. Linda's insights to how we're all gonna die. Yeah.
No, guys, for real, it's you know, you want to watch out for the coronavirus because the idea is you want it to spread slowly so that hospitals aren't overwhelmed. But in general, people are usually okay from it. Like we were just talking to Sean. Hey, you know Sean's got coronavirus?
Yep. Yeah, I've been talking to him. My boy Sean. Yeah, Sean Hurst.
Really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he's been.
Yeah, mixed. Guys, if you check out the channel, Mixed Martial Apologetics. Mixed Martial Apologetics. We were just on. Someone share a link to Mixed Martial Apologetics. He just started that. I mean, he's been doing videos for a while. He's the guy's, you know, he's a martial artist and so on. And so he's actually combining his interests. He's using martial arts to explain apologetics ideas and stuff like that. So interesting channel. But he just started making videos along those lines over the past like month and a half. So check out that channel. But yeah,
smart guy too, man. Real smart guy. Actually, last week I did a presentation, refuting some aspects of atheism, particularly as you see it emerging in African American context. And there was an argument that I was trying to formulate, and he helped me out with that. A particular version of the argument from reason. So he's real big on epistemology. Real smart guy, man. Very helpful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he agrees with me on epistemology. By the way, did you know that?
I mean, we've talked about epistemology. I mean, his position actually is that there's various defensible perspectives, and he's cool with folks as long as you're kind of
because he's nicer than me.
He's a nice guy, you know what I mean. But I do know that he has some misgivings about playing his position, But
there's a lot of questions on First John. People are asking like First John 3:9 and stuff. I won't just take up all the time going into First John, but I'd say check out the fellowship perspective. I think it's the perspective that makes the most sense in First John, and that's what really transformed my understanding about how to understand these verses when they say like the person who sins, or it says if he who sins is of the devil, and then you have passages like in First John 1:10 where it says if you say that you're without sin, then the truth is not in you. So check out like the fellowship perspective. Charlie Bing wrote a fascinating article on it in a book called I think it's called 20 something problems about or tough questions about grace, something like that. His article in there was really I think kind of revolutionary to my understanding, and it really made First John beautiful, because it's not about, like, people take the purpose statement in 1 John 5 and say, this is how you know you're saved. This is like a test of faith, you know what I mean? But instead, if you look at it from the fellowship perspective, it actually makes a lot more sense, I think. And then it makes it about intimacy with God, and then it becomes a lot more enlightening and beautiful. So that's just what I'd say to that. So.
Sola Scriptura said, David, ever had any invitations from the mainstream media about your channel? Yeah, back when the Dearborn stuff was going on, we spoke to various news channels and so on. I think we were all on. I think we're all on when the Dearborn situation was going on. So, yep, ended up on several shows there, and I've been on stuff with regards to, I was interviewed about the Ground Zero Mosque and so on. Apart from that, there were a bunch of times, because I lived in New York, where I would just get a message all of a sudden after some terrorist attack or something like that, and would say, hey, can you be down here at this studio to talk about this at, by 3 p.m. and stuff like that. And I would see it at like 6 p.m.
I'm the worst.
You're not the worst.
Sounds politically.
Right.
You don't even know what anyone's talking about, John. That's before your time. You were a baby.
It trickled down.
Yeah.
So John was like 3 years old, man.
Yeah. Adam was saying socialism.
Yeah. So Reagan's view was,
Bernie
hey,
Sanders with it right now.
Reagan's view,
like Adam's Team Bernie right now.
Team Bernie.
So trickle down economics. Give the rich people some money, and it'll trickle down to us poor people.
I know. Little trickle. Here's a little trickle.
All right. Well, I guess we could be wrapping it up here in about the next 10 minutes.
All right.
Cool. People are asking if you have coronavirus, Wood, because you're coughing and stuff.
No, I had a little cold, but no coronavirus.
Yeah, I told him when I saw him yesterday with all the weight loss. I was like, oh man, I thought the corona got him, man.
John Buckley said, did you guys ever get your camera back from the mayor? Yes, that was actually how we were able to prove that we were innocent in court. But the problem was, so for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, you just look up Dearborn arrests unedited footage or something like that, Dearborn arrests. But yeah, we were at the Dearborn Arab Festival. Nabil was answering some questions of some young Muslims. I was standing there holding a camera, wasn't saying a word. And police showed up, threw us all in jail. Not all of us, just the Christians. And then the mayor and the chief of police, they all issued statements that we were screaming at people and causing a riot, and all of these things was all total nonsense. And I was recording the entire time so I could prove that we weren't doing any of that, but they kept our cameras for almost a month and wouldn't give us back. So by the time we actually got our cameras back, everyone had taken it for granted that we were screaming at people when we were a bunch of jerks. So even Christians were throwing us under the bus. And so, yeah, there were a few exceptions. There were a few exceptions like, James White. James White was one of the guys defending us back then. Lydia McGrew was one of the people defending us back then. So, but yeah, there were lots of people. There were lots of people, lots of important people who were just, nope, these guys are bad, so on. Didn't even pay attention. But yeah, we got the cameras back. In fact, I just found one of those cameras. I'm thinking of giving it away because I have way better cameras now. If anyone wants it as like a souvenir from history, I'm thinking of giving it away to someone. I should look on there. It's probably got some.
Is it like one of those things like we got like prayer water or something like that, where you give somebody the camera and they're healed of the coronavirus or something? Is that?
Well, I mean, this thing's
for $79.99.
This camera. Where is it? It should be around here somewhere, actually. This camera's crazy because, this in 2009, when security attacked us and started slapping us around and stuff like that, that was the camera we were using then. The next year, when we got arrested and they took the camera, that was the camera there. So, yeah, I don't need it for anything anymore. Again, they're just way better cameras now. So if someone wants a cool autographed souvenir or something like this propped up, hey, that was the camera David Wood and Nabil got arrested with all those years ago. And that was the one where they got the crap beat out of them. They're right there. Be funny. Let's see.
People say to auction it.
Somebody said, Adam, I sent David another super chat that you might appreciate. What was that?
Ian Sasson-Nazal said, I bid $1 million. Sold, sir. That is a verbal binding contract. And
oh, whatever happened to the Islamicize Me props? Did you guys send those out?
No, we still saved all of them.
Okay. Dope. We need to do another. We need to do the next one, man.
No, we're gonna do the prequel. It's a prequel.
Yeah, I know. We got it. I can't wait to start. When all this stuff clears up, we'll get it done.
We need to.
Hey, David.
What's up?
Yeah, somebody said Adam looks like a chilled out Lennox Lewis. That's like, didn't somebody say that last night?
You do look like Lennox Lewis, man.
And Jim Brown. I watched Jim Brown.
Jim Brown.
Yeah, I know that the old football player. I was watching him. Yeah, and he reminded me of you, which was weird. I was watching him last night, and I was telling my wife, and she's like, "Yeah, he does remind me of Adam." So I knew it.
Jim Brown's way tougher than me, man. Jim
But you guys have that same kind of demeanor, like same kind of chill, and you think alike.
Adam, where would you put Lennox Lewis on your all-time list as far as heavyweights? You watch boxing.
Ooh, yeah, heavyweight. Well, I'm partial to the old school, so obviously Ali's got to be up there. That's going to be my number one. Lennox Lewis. Oh man, so here's the thing. Here's my thing with Lennox Lewis. He's obviously a great. I think he's slightly overrated.
Really?
I do. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because if you watch a lot of his fights, like I'm thinking about like when he fought Tyson or whatever, a lot of his fights he's getting over because he has the reach advantage and he knows how to use it well. But when you saw him kind of go up against like the Klitschko, I think he got exposed a little bit. You know what I'm saying, because the reach wasn't there, and he was getting tagged up. You know what I'm saying? So he's a great.
He also wasn't. He wasn't at his peak anymore, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you got to give him top 5. I'm not going to disrespect.
No, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say top 5.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he had some holes in his game that I think a lot of people don't take into account. But yeah, I'll give him top 5. Yeah, top 5 for sure.
All right. As long as you got him in there, because I could see him ranked anywhere 3rd, 4th, or 5th.
I got him right below Buster Douglas.
No, I think you gotta have Ali at number 1. I think you gotta have Joe Louis at number 2, and after that, I think 3 through 5 are up for grabs and so on. But,
so you're not gonna put Tyson up there?
I love Tyson, but
yeah,
I love Customato Tyson. I just don't know. Yeah, I mean, if he hadn't gotten rid of Andy Rooney, man, I don't know. Part of it is being an all-time great is longevity. You know what I mean? How long can you do it, right? I mean, the Klitschkos are going until they're like 1,000 years old. Muhammad Ali, George Foreman took 10 years off and then came back, and old man was still knocking dudes out.
Yeah, George Foreman was a beast.
Top 5, to be honest. I think you got to put Foreman top 5.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, you got to put Foreman up there.
Well, I'd say, if you look, the dude did not have. He had better boxing skills when he came out of retirement than he used to. But he's just
strong.
Guy, for those of you who don't know much about boxing, you have sort of classic styles like Foreman for me is like the ultimate brawler style, right? The brawler is someone who has to be able to take tons of damage and is just massively powerful, right? Doesn't have great boxing skills, doesn't stick and move. He could just, if you come in on him, he can take the shots, and he's gonna hit you and stuff. And so that's a brawler type. The boxer is the guy who sticks and moves. He runs up points on you so that he can win by decision if he needs to, and so on. If he sees an opportunity, he'll move in for it, and so on. The ultimate boxer is Muhammad Ali.
But you forgot a category.
What? I'm about to give a category, man.
No, you forgot the. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's the boxer, the outfighter, right? That's like Muhammad Ali. There, it's just having tremendous boxing skills. Again, racking up points, phenomenal. Being able to duck punches and things like that. And then you still
forgot a category.
Yeah, there is the infighter. The infighter.
No. I'm gonna say it's like the no. Okay, who's the Dillahunty Dodge of boxing?
Oh, hang on.
Yeah. You know who this is?
Yeah.
That's
just dodges the whole time. Mayweather. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Mayweather ducking and dodging. Doesn't punch, just ducking and dodging.
Yeah. So
all right, go ahead.
Yeah, and then you have. Well, I've actually thought about applying this to apologetics, right? Because but no, Sean should do this as part of mixed martial apologetics, explaining different. Matter of fact, I should make a video for his channel to help give him a little boost at the beginning, because right now he's at that beginning stage where it's tough. Then you have the infighter, right? The guy who he gets in close. The boxer, he stays away, leads with his jab and his right, jab and right. an infighter, he comes in with a flurry of like hooks and uppercuts, and basically the infighter is he gets right up close to you, and it's just he's going to throw a flurry of punches until someone drops. And so so Tyson is kind of the ultimate example of an infighter. And so you have it's interesting how these different styles can match up, because the saying is something like you could correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's something like infighter beats a boxer beats a brawler beats an infighter. Meaning if you were sort of the perfect example of that, the perfect example of that, an infighter is going to get close enough to a boxer to make the boxer uncomfortable, and he's just going to keep throwing uppercuts and hooks and stuff like that up close, so that the boxer can't pace himself and do what he wants to do. Whereas if the infighter tries that against the brawler can take those shots, but the brawler is also super strong, and so he's going to just be pounding this dude when he comes in there, when he gets in close. Whereas the boxer versus the brawler, so there's your Ali versus Foreman, right? The boxer's going to outsmart the brawler and come up with a plan to let him wear himself down after a few rounds, and then just rack up points and win on points if he needs to, or if he sees that opportunity, hey, he's wearing himself out. And gosh, man, Ali during that fight with Foreman kept, by round 6 he was going, this is a bad time to be getting tired, George. This is a bad time to get tired.
What is William Lane Craig? That's what do you think William Lane Craig is?
Which is he?
Apologetics. I feel like he might
apologetics?
be.
He's got to be the Muhammad Ali, man.
That's what I was gonna say. He's kind of like Ali.
Like a swarmer. A swarmer is more of a guy who comes in there and just bam, 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 just rattling off stuff and just never gives you a time to. For real, a brawler might be something more like. I'm not sure about this because I haven't thought through it. But a brawler might be more someone like a precept, right? Like, okay, here's my position. Here's my position. Go ahead and try to knock me out. You can't. Nope, you can't. I can take too much damage. You can't hurt me. You can't hurt my position. You're proving my point. Everything you're saying is proving my point right now.
Side 10 is George Foreman, basically. It's like the side 10 is George Foreman. Is that really
I remember Holyfield said because yesterday we were talking about how hard George Foreman could punch. Holyfield said you just have to train to get out of the way and block and stuff like this. And he said I was blocking and dodging the entire time, and he caught me with one jab right in my face, and I thought my face was shattered. That's what it felt like. Felt like he shattered my entire face. And I walked back to my corner. I was like, what happened to my face? But I was like, that was a jab from George Foreman. So the point of that was to show you how awesome Ali was when he came up with the rope-a-dope, right? That's brilliant. And he spent months working on his core. And so you've got I would say the hardest hitting boxer in all of history. And you just say, I'm going to go up against these ropes and let this guy pound on me until he wears me out. And we saw what George could do to a heavy bag. So he used to
bag. Remember that video?
He used to break heavy bags by punching. He would break a heavy bag open. Yeah. So anyway, that was everyone's boxing lesson for the day. But I'm trying to. If you guys have comments on how to apply that to apologetics, the different styles.
Piglet Smith says Jon McCray is vital. Kitsuchu. I have no idea who that is. Does anybody?
Klitschko.
Who is that?
Klitschko.
Who's that?
Jon McCray is Klitschko. Vitaly. That's what they're trying to say.
Is who?
So Vitaly. There's two Klitschko.
He's not saying vital. He's saying Vitaly. Vitaly Klitschko. He left an eye off.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Who is that? What category is he in?
That's one of the Klitschko brothers.
Yeah.
What category? I don't know who they are.
They're boxers, man. They're heavyweight boxers.
I know they're boxers, but I'm saying what category do they go in?
They're boxers.
They're like the Muhammad Ali.
They're the boxer style.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I got what you're saying. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Lennox Lewis, boxer, right? These guys.
Can you do a Ukrainian? Can you do a Ukrainian accent?
Nah, bro. I don't even know what that sounds like in my head.
Just go. I must break you.
No, that's. Is that?
That was Ivan Drago. I must break you.
What is Wood? You're probably more of the whatchamacallit.
Yeah, Wood. He's gonna be.
I prefer the Tyson swarming style. Let me run in you. I don't always use that, but if I had to stick with a style and go for it, that's what I would love that in apologetics.
I'm judging off your debate with Dillahunty the other day. I'm thinking about, in particular, where you referred to Richard Dawkins as Pope Richard.
Yeah,
that's a Tyson move right there. You know what I'm saying? He's just coming in with little barbs there. You know what I'm saying? A little infighting there. You refer to Pope Richard, and you just make a little comments throughout your. Like, I can't think of anybody else saying who's going to throw in jabs like that in their opening statement. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine William and Craig referring to Dawkins as Pope Richard or something like that. It's just not going to happen.
Craig is funny.
Well, I was doing that. I did that at one debate with an atheist, and then the dude ended up throwing Dawkins under the bus. He's like, "Well, I don't think Richard Dawkins is good, and you shouldn't be quoting him." And I'm like, "Hey!" And I stood up and I go, "Hey, we agree on something. Richard Dawkins is a big joke. You shouldn't be listening to him. Amen to that." So, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna do a new Dawkins video soon, just because. Like, typically, I'm like, people have moved on past Dawkins, but there's a new interview he did that's gave me all kinds of funny ideas. So I'm gonna do a Dawkins video here soon, by the way.
Dawkins is still out here getting it, man. I mean, he's got some residual effect going on, man.
He's kind of ticked off a lot of people, though. Like, a lot of his leftist people, you know what I mean?
Oh, with like the Twitter thing recently with the
all kinds of stuff, that. Yeah.
Okay.
But he's got a new interview though where he's like just talking crap, and it's just funny because there's a bunch of funny stuff I can do with it. So. Yeah, buddy.
Now hang out for real. We just did a whole Jane on boxing. That was dope.
Yeah, now we have a bunch of boxing comments. John Buckley said David is Ali, Dillahunty is Jerry Quarry. Quarry was actually sad because he had he had it worse than Ali did for a while, but the problems they have with because of getting hit so much. But Jerry Quarry was a white boxer during the 70s, the greatest generation of boxers ever. And so he was kind of like the great white hope for white, but he was awesome. Like, the guy could take a beating, but he had too many problems with cuts. His skin, for some reason, if you hit him right, it would start gushing blood. And so the guy could just take a pounding. He was a good fighter, but a lot of his losses against big opponents were stoppages, because even if he was ahead on points and so on, it'd be stoppages because he just ends up bleeding a lot. And so it was I
just want to. So I don't know who Piglet Smith is, but they said that Dawkins is Adrian Bronner, which is, for anybody who's a boxing fan, I think that's hilarious. Adrian Bronner is kind of like a guy who's super cocky, always talking trash, is like way over the top. And then, like, in the big fights, he like gets his behind handed to him. Like, so that's Adrian Bronner's career.
So he's like Zachary Knight.
Huh?
He's like Zachary Knight.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, you know that Charlie Zelenoff guy?
Oh yeah.
You ever seen Charlie Zelenoff? Charlie Zelenoff's that guy who claims to be like 487-0, and he runs around. He gets the crap beat out of him, but he always claims victory. He actually ran up on Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder hit him with a couple, and he went running, and he claimed that he claims that he beat Deontay Wilder and stuff like that. He's hilarious. He's clearly like mentally ill. There's something wrong with him. He runs around. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, guys, should we be wrapping this up?
Yeah.
Somebody said we didn't mention Manny Pacquiao, so before we do, I just want to mention Manny Pacquiao.
Manny's another infighter, a swarmer, right? So he's a smaller like Tyson style. What's cool about those, like about Tyson, is they're exciting fights, right? They're usually not going 12 rounds, right? You either knock that dude out or you get knocked out. Now, as Pacquiao got older, he didn't always have that level of punching power as he did when he was younger and stuff like that. But same idea. That's why you don't want to see old Pacquiao versus old Mayweather, right? You want to see them both in their prime, and then you get to see Mayweather, who's like the ultimate defensive fighter, versus Pacquiao, who's like the ultimate offensive fighter, and see them go on. Once they get old and one of them's lost his edge, then
Like right.
I feel bad for all the people who don't like boxing.
He proclaims Christian. Yeah, somebody said. Did you want to go on that question? I saw that too, John. You want to?
What's that?
No. I just said I feel bad for all the people who don't like boxing. There's a few people in there who's like, "What are you guys talking about?" And then some people are like, "Yeah," because they're like boring. I was like, "Yeah, I think
man. You never know what's gonna come up. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna come up."
Yeah, here we are, apologists. Like, we can answer questions for people, and here we are talking about boxing.
Oh yeah, so so for anyone who came in late, this is just a live hangout, so we're kind of just going with it, whatever came up or whatever questions came up. I don't know, how did we get on boxing?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was your fault. However it happened, pretty sure it was all you.
David, did you lose your patience with Dillahunty? You're the first person to ask me that. Everyone else said, "Wow, you're remarkably calm considering Dillahunty was freaking out." So no.
He seemed a little snippy. I felt like I don't know if did you get that vibe from him? He seemed like he was a little snippy that day.
Yeah. No. I'm gonna make a video of like when he asked me, well, what does God do? And you know, the point is that God gives you kind of moral realism, and it gives you a different view of other human beings. And he's like, well, you don't understand what that means, right? And I'm like, okay, well, if I'm asking what you are as a human being, then, you know, I have the question of like where you came from, where you are, where you're going, and so on. And he when I pointed out that there's a difference between viewing someone as something eternal versus viewing someone as something that's just going to, you know, it's going to die and be extinct, that does have an effect on your view of what we are. Right. And then he you know, flipped out. He was, "You're straw manning. That's a straw man. That's a straw man." He started flipping out. But what I said has been said by a lot of atheists over the years, right? And I don't see how you get around it, right? Like, you know, Bertrand Russell said it. In fact, he said any philosophy that's not founded upon this sort of despair that comes with acknowledging that as individuals and as an entire species, we're all destined to perish. He said any philosophy that's not grounded on that's doomed to failure, right? So you can fool around and go, no, everything's great, everything's wonderful, and you just say it's doomed to failure. It's gonna wind down and so on. So I want to put something together of like quotes from atheists who said exactly what I said, but they said it they're atheists who said it in much more extreme fashion, and basically said, title it something like Matt Dillahunty slams Bertrand Russell. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because he's flipping out. I mean, you got the atheists of the 20th century; they were completely comfortable acknowledging this stuff. You get to the atheists of the 21st century, where they're far more emotional. They're like balls of rage. And they flip out when you say something that atheists of the 20th century would gladly acknowledge, and so on. Right. So it's interesting how the atheists now would just completely throw these guys under the bus and just lose their minds on them.
Yeah, as I understand it, I think that's more of it's for like the pop level atheists, or you're kind of internet atheists or whatever. I mean, I think the guys who are like, I'm thinking, for example, somebody like a Graham Oppie. Or, you know, somebody...
Oh, they would hate Dillahunty and them stuff. They would think it's so ridiculous.
Right. I mean, they're more willing to stand their ground and say, hey, look, you know, this is, you know, we accept the proposition that God does not exist, and, you know, such and such implications from it. Matter of fact, I like that video you and IP did, John, on the skeptics, or I can't remember how you titled it, but just basically a strategy where they kind of use skepticism as a, you know, rather than a tool to, you know, kind of highlight truth, it's just more of a stance to avoid truth in a sense. I mean, I don't know if that's how you term it, but
yeah, something like that. And that's the thing, is like, I just want to keep pointing out the little things that they do that other people are like, I know they're doing something, but I can't figure out what it is. You know what I mean? It kind of like bugs you or whatever. So I just want to keep pointing out these things to make it clear, like, what they're doing. You know what I mean? To kind of pull that rug out from under. So that's why I'm always trying to expose that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, the philosophers, like, still today, the philosophers would completely disagree with like Dillahunty and all these other people on virtually almost everything. You know what I mean? Because it's not about philosophy anymore for the online atheists. And it's bizarre because almost all of the objections today, it seems like, from the online atheists are about morality. They're like moral objections. They're not philosophical objections or anything like that. They're mainly moral objections. And so like the new online atheists have to have some sort of objective moral standards, you know what I mean? But because it's all about, you know, it's only objective in relation to the end goal, is the best that we've seen. Dillahunty probably has the best, or really Cosmic, really, because Dillahunty's really sloppy with it. But Cosmic has probably the best view that you can have for for morality on atheism, and it's still not ultimately objective. They're just saying there's objective moves that you can make once you have a conclusion and everybody's going towards that same goal. And so they're trying to find a unified goal. But to me, that's just like practically doesn't. It's a nice thought, but there's no way it would work in reality.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of interesting about that? So, like, in the context that I'm typically find myself doing apologetics in, you have like so-called, you know, black atheists, you know, where you have it's atheism, but like the cultural packaging, if you kind of get the African American culture, and what you find is amongst them, there's this kind of I wouldn't even say underlying, but it's kind of this ongoing concern that the broader atheist community doesn't care about things like, social justice or whatever things that these particular, African Americans are concerned about. And so there's like this schism, what I'm saying, even within like along racial lines, there's like this kind of schism, amongst the atheist community. And I just think that's interesting because, on Christianity, obviously we have a ready-made unifier. I'm saying we have, that we're all, in Christ. I'm saying we're all made in the image of God, to take it further than that. But on atheism, I mean, you really have to either concoct some sort of unifying identity, or maybe just kind of presume something like like humanism does, but it's not really grounded in anything objective. It's I think there's some arbitrariness there, but I just think that's pretty interesting.
Well, they're never talking about objectivity or ontology usually. You know what I mean? They don't really care about those things as much. So they're usually just talking about subjective experiences. All that kind of really matters in their minds in some degree. So that's where the communication misses each other a lot.
Hindu historian said Muhammad meets Pennywise in the Boom Boom Room. I feel like the feeding on fear thing is something Muhammad could relate to. I think I could actually, I haven't tried it, but I think I could pull off Pennywise. I pulled off the Joker with no practice whatsoever. I think I pulled it off pretty well, so I think I could do a Pennywise too. This is funny. Isaac Marshall said, David, can you sing the Magic Backpack song? But I'm on the computer where I made the Magic Backpack song, so I think I can play it. I think I could go ahead and play it for you right now. So let's see if this thing works. We're gonna have everyone the Magic Backpack song. If this works, I hope this is not some bad edit or something, but this is what pops up when I clicked on Backpack song. All right, let's check it out.
Backpack, magic backpack.
Hear nothing. You can hear it, but we can't hear it.
He's back here. We can't hear it. He's bobbing his head to it and everything. I
wonder if people can hear it.
We just imagine I didn't even know it was the backpack.
You guys were rudely talking over the Magic Backpack song.
We can't hear it.
It was dead silent.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't mean you have to ruin it for everybody else. But that was funny because I had to figure out how to do that on my own, right? Because I was like, how am I gonna just have my lips on the backpack? And so I was thinking about the annoying orange, and they actually had a totally different way of doing it from what I did. But then I was like, wait a minute, green screening works. What if I just smear green all over green makeup, face paint all over my face except my lips, and then I do green screen, and then all you'll see is my lips. So that's what I did. I smeared green. I smeared green all over my face, and then green screened it, and it doesn't work around the edges. So then I kind of cropped it around to just this area. And it was just green, but yep, it worked. So
that's dope. That's crazy.
Hey, real quick, I have a comment that somebody made, and I think it was addressed to me. It said, for the guy on the right, it's not avoiding truth generally; it's avoiding certainty that is perceived as unwarranted. And I think they're referring to my comment where I talked about the atheists, kind of how they take their position today. And to that, I would say that honestly, most apologists. At least in the circles that I roll in, I don't think anybody's really pressing for like some sort of psychological certainty. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I'm going to make this argument and you've got no mental capacity to resist coming to believe, the gospel or something like that, So I don't think either side, generally speaking, is pressing for some sort of psychological certainty. But again, I would stand on what I said. I think it is truth avoidance in a sense, because you've got people who, for example, this whole debate about, what atheism is. To be honest, we know what atheism is, classically speaking, and kind of this notion today when it comes to, it's just a lack of belief in God and so on and so forth. I'm this is just my perspective, and maybe you guys disagree. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, but I think that it is an attempt to avoid taking on the burden of proof, with respect to making a claim about God's non-existence, and I think that it's kind of an attempt to avoid conversations that would direct one to truth if somebody was sincerely engaging in it. So that's my view.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think by and large.
Yeah.
Why else would you not? You know what I mean? So, and then you got problems like, well, what's a person that believes that God doesn't exist? What do you call him? You know what I mean? A person that says God does not exist. And but they probably say, oh, an atheist can be both or whatever. But then I'm like, okay, then don't get mad if people say that atheism is the belief that God does not exist, so.
Right. And just to give a clear example, like so often, like one of the kind of taglines today, or it's like the slogan kind of things today is they'll say, well, atheism isn't a worldview, or something along those lines. And whether you take it to be a worldview or not, I mean, if you take it that God does not exist, there are implications that follow from that. You know what I'm saying? And so if we're talking about those implications, i.e., I would say that morality can't be grounded and things of that nature. I mean, whether you take atheism to be a quote worldview or not, if you take the proposition that God does not exist to be true, then yeah, there's going to be implications that follow from that, and some of those implications have to do with morality. Some have to do with how we value folks and function in the world. So I just think it's just kind of a way of kind of doing that little dodge thing when people it becomes a conversation stopper. Like you don't really get anywhere. Really.
Yeah, Greg Koukl's newer book, what's it called? The Story of Reality. Yeah. I like how he kind of maps it out, where he's like, basically everybody has a way of that they're seeing the world. And so you have these different puzzle pieces, that can make your view of the world make more sense than others. And you have these internal components and external components, and then you're comparing different views of the world like that. So regardless, whatever you want to say about atheism, there's a way that atheists see the world, and they don't include God into the way they see the world. So in that aspect too, you can compare that view compared to the theistic worldview, and then kind of go from there. So
yeah, there you go.
Got a request from Muhammad meets Muhammad Ali.
Oh, snap.
That'd be funny. What? Why are you so white?
Right. Did I ever tell you the story about my grandma meeting Muhammad Ali? Did I ever tell you that?
Man, your grandma didn't meet no Muhammad Ali. Come on, dude. That's like
she sure did.
No, you're like the guy in Coming to America. The barber said, "Let me tell you about the time I met Dr. Martin Luther King." Man walked up to me, hit me in my chest. I said, I fell down the ground. I said, "Dr. King." He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else."
That's a good reference. No, for real, but it was funny because she's passed on now, but she used to tell this story about like her and some of her lady friends were walking around some park, and he comes jogging by. You know what I'm saying? He's like, and it was just like a real quick meet and greet, like hello, ladies, something like that. And he keeps on going, and it's funny because every time she would tell the story, she would always say, "And Adam, he was a good-looking man." And then my granddad would just kind of like crumple his newspaper and like be upset like that.
That's gonna be me.
Like 1,000 times. He was a good-looking man.
Hey, we keep in the comment. You guys want to touch on it from Yoshua Purba. Says, hi, how do you explain the connection from creator to Jesus to people who are not familiar with the Bible? Thank you. So I think what he's asking, I think from the older comments, he's saying like you have like the Kalam and these arguments, then how do you get to Jesus from them, or is there a way to get to Jesus from them? What say you, Wood?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you have to bring in the history of Jesus and the information we know about Jesus, but this would be part of a cumulative case, right? If you build a Kalam cosmological argument, fine-tuning arguments, biological design, a moral argument, whatever you put into there, you're ruling out certain alternatives, right? Hey, all these other alternatives that do not involve a creator or a moral foundation, things like this, these can't account for reality. These can't account for our experience, and so you need something more. And so, but the question remains, wait a minute, if you've got a creator who created the universe and fine-tuned it so that we can be alive, and who is also the ground of all goodness and the one who gives us moral obligations and so on, if you've got all that gives you theism, but the question is, has he shown us more? And so we say he has shown more, and here's why. And so then you get to Jesus. So that would be my view. Yep.
Yeah, I think you need the Bible or history or both in order to talk about Jesus. Otherwise, yeah. I mean, but you do have like some instances in for Muslims and stuff in other countries and stuff like that will have like visions of Jesus and stuff like that and convert and stuff like that too. So in situations like that, it is possible, I think, other people can convert without having direct access to the Bible or something like that.
All right, guys. Well, we are pushing 2 hours now, so unless you got something else, we should probably wrap up.
Yeah.
All right. So
sounds good. Yeah.
all right, Jon McCray. Final words. Remind everyone where to get a hold of you and what you got coming up.
Final words. Yeah, so go to What Do You Meme? Just search it, and you will find my channel. And yeah, you guys, I got a lot of stuff coming up that I'm excited about. I've got like 2 big projects in my head, and I'm still trying to get things worked out since I just went full time, getting a bunch of stuff worked out, like the business side of it all and stuff. So that's taking a lot of time right now, but I hope to have it done here. I'm getting towards the end of it now. So then I'll be cranking out videos like crazy. I'm trying to. So anyways, yeah, and tomorrow night I have a live stream with Sam Shamoon. So you guys can come join that. It'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern on my channel. So yeah, good to see everyone.
All right, Adam.
Yeah, first of all, somebody, John Wilson said, Adam, when are you going to fix that wall behind you?
Yeah,
Bomb behind me here, you know, it's falling apart. But I was working real quick trying to get my kids their dinner before I set up my stuff, so I didn't get everything set up how I wanted.
He's outside, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
He lives in the street, kind of, so.
on the elements. But, yeah, so, yeah, likewise, man, I got some projects coming up. As a matter of fact, this coming week, I've got a guest. I've got, you know, Braxton Hunter's going to be on. I know David's going to have him on Monday, and I'm going to have him on Thursday, you know, so y'all definitely skip David's, you know, and then, you know, come check mine out, you know, for sure. But no, so I've got him coming up, and I'm actually trying to step my game up as far as doing at least 1 live per week. You know, I'm trying to get up to 2, but right now I'm doing 1. So I've got a couple topics planned out. One in particular, we've got for anybody who's familiar with the Hebrew Israelites, I have an argument against their identity claim that me and Vocab Malone, we did like a tag team debate, and I dropped it a couple years ago. And just the other day, I kind of polished it off, dusted it off, so to speak, and I'm going to be kind of, you know, presenting a strengthened version of that. So I'll probably drop that next week. And I've got some stuff coming up on atheism after that. I got about a good 3 or 4 subjects, you know, mapped out. So y'all check me out at Tru-ID. It's Tru-ID Apologetics here on YouTube.
Oh, Adam, I plan on releasing our 2nd video sometime next week, by the way, probably too. So just so you know.
Oh, dope. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, we did 2 on atheism and whatnot. And actually, I was part of the Cyber City conference last week. And I did a whole, you know, hour with different versions of the moral argument, which I think militate against atheism. So anybody who likes those videos that we did, you probably want to hop over and you know, check that out. You know.
Oh, Wood, Radical Love commented and said the David Wood documentary. Yeah, what is going on with the David Wood documentary? David Wood.
I told you why you need to hold off on that till something else happens. So, no, guys, that delay is not on Jon McCray. That is on something I told him he needs to wait on to make it a little bit more epic. But
yeah, it's gonna be dope though. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, all right.
My favorite.
All right, so everyone subscribe to Jon's channel, especially, you know, because, you know, some of these live streams coming up, especially tomorrow and so on. He's going to be having live streams over on here, and he just makes good videos. And subscribe to Adam's channel because he's gonna blow up. It's a matter of time. And as Fred Sanford pointed out, tell all your friends about Adam. Let's try to get him up to 5,000 subscribers. That'll be a pretty cool milestone. And Adam, Once you got 5,000, all the rest is easy, man. The first 5,000 is hard.
I'm getting there, man.
The next 5,000 is easy. All right, thanks.
I'm calling it Project E to 5,000.
Yeah. All right, thanks everyone for joining us. Again, Jon's channel tomorrow, and Braxton Hunter will be with me on Monday. And by the way, I have a cool video for you tomorrow. Catch you later.
Peace.
Peace.